If you've ever considered you need some help and you'd like to go and confide in a human being and maybe even have a little cathartic release and seek some counseling, well, now there's an app for that. There's AI for that, apparently. But AI, for a lot of things, is not all it's cracked up to be, especially when we want it to duplicate the human experience. Joining us now is Kate Farmer. She is a contributor with Young Voices. Kate is also a sophomore at Washington University in St. Louis, double majoring in philosophy and great books with a minor in data science. Kate, welcome to the show.
Hi, it's great to be here.
So using AI for everything now, I think there are some applications that maybe it's not quite ready for prime time.
Yeah, so AI's been around for a while in some forms that we haven't been as worried about. I mean, AI's been used for various medical technologies. It's been used in public services. It's been used by law enforcement agencies without a lot of controversy. But in the past few years, we've seen the rise of what you might hear as natural language processing models, which is AI like ChatGPT that can pump out a lot of text. And it learns basically on a lot of pattern recognition. So it reads a lot of text online, and then it learns to reproduce that and make the best educated guesses it can to a given prompt. And now it can do that for therapy. You give it a certain emotion or what you're feeling, and it, based on the knowledge it has, kind of gives a guesswork-like response to how it thinks it can help.
But while it's giving its best guesswork, it seems like there's no, how should I say, heart to it. Because normally when people go for therapy, they're actually looking to talk to a person, a human being that they can connect with. And I just can't see connecting with a computer.
Yes, and that's a really common complaint that we're getting from some of these apps, chatbots, website services. Some of the most popular ones like Wobot or Wysa often have auto-generated responses that you click, and then it'll give you a prompt based on their auto-generated response. And so the main complaints coming out of these sites is that they're clunky, they're unrealistic, and they don't really give you that human experience that people say is the essence of therapy in itself. But there's a lot of lonely people out there, and there's a really high demand right now for mental health services. We're in a crisis for that, and there are a lot of people desperate enough to give them a try amidst long wait times, higher prices. And so there's not a great level of reviews out there, but a lot of people aren't necessarily writing them off just yet.
Well, what about the fact that being that it's a computer, it's not a real human being and can't really make good executive decisions? What happens when this goes wrong? What happens when some of this AI tells somebody to do something they shouldn't do? Like, say they're considering, they have a terminal illness, they're thinking of ending their life, and the computer says, yes, you should do that right now. There will be no, it's not like there's any oversight. The computer just told you to do that. And so, well, okay, I guess the computer told me, I might as well. It's like those, they see those jokes like when Michael Scott's driving his car and the GPS says turn right, and he goes right into the lake because, well, the computer told me to do it. I don't like the idea of computers now being in charge of our medical care and being in charge of mental care. It seems like it's a recipe for disaster.
Yes, and I'm worried about that. And a lot of my writing centers around the lack of regulation or oversight on these young apps. I mean, AI itself in the forms we're seeing it now is so incredibly new, but it's in this rat race with others to produce newer products for a market. But the problem is there's no regulation on these right now. They're classified as general wellness products by the FDA, which is their lowest risk category. There's no transparency requirements for the claims they make. There's no safety checks. They can make whatever claims they want about their product and their benefit without having to clear them first. And so users don't really know what they're getting into. And there's been a high-profile example recently of a man who was talking with a chatbot called Chai, which is not for therapy. It's a generalized chatbot. But the man was having serious suicidal tendencies and a lot of anxiety about the environment, and the chatbot goaded him on to commit suicide. And this is an extreme example. A more therapy-centric chatbot would probably be a little better trained than this, but we shouldn't write that off. That's really concerning to me, and we need to start working on ways to fight back on that now.
Yeah, I agree. And by the way, you use the word trained. I think you mean to use the word programmed because it's just a computer. I think sometimes we lose sight of that. These things do sound alike, a lot alike, but they're still just computers. They're just technology. Kate Farmer, thank you so much for joining us this morning from Young Voices.